What's up, Facebook? It is that special day, and I'm back with another Gandhi anniversary wisdom insight. So, it's, for those of you who don't know, the 2nd of October is the birth anniversary of the famous Mahatma Gandhi. It was this day many years ago that Gandhi took birth and became eventually the father of the nation, the leader who took India to independence, the person who rebelled against the British Empire in a way different to his predecessors who had used acts of war and aggression, but he took the path of peace. And Gandhi will forever be remembered as somebody who assisted and supported and facilitated a nation freeing themselves from the shackles of the British Empire. And there were many other previous predecessors who, Bhagat Singh, Maharana Pratap, so many predecessors who had helped in shaping this nation. But I want to focus on another Gandhi quote. And this Gandhi quote is, "There is enough for every person's need on this earth, but not enough for every person's greed." Let me say that again. On this earth, there is enough for every person's need to be satisfied, but not every person's greed. And that really speaks, I think, volumes for this day and age that we live in. This society is filled with a drive towards seeking and gleaning and grabbing. We're in a consumerist society. We're in a consumerist culture where we're encouraged to go and grab what we want. We're encouraged to buy that thing. We're encouraged to go here, live here, stay there, do this, do that. And so we're in this compulsion, this society that pushes us to do this, and it causes us to lose sight of that which we need versus that which we want, which then becomes our greed. And unfortunately, sometimes our needs are garbed in the form of greed, and vice versa. And what I mean by that is sometimes there is something that we may like, but it starts to become a need. It doesn't have to be a need, but it becomes a need because we see it with somebody else. We see that so-and-so has an amazing car. We see a friend who's got an amazing house. They're living in a great place. And so we feel we need that as well. We feel we've got to have that. And so Maya, illusion, tricks us into making a want a need. And when a need sets in, as it says in Sanskrit in the Bhagavad Gita, dhyayato visapumsam, those desires, when they start to turn into a need, they start to trigger greed. And when greed develops, a desire, a panging, a burning, a trishna, as they say in Sanskrit, trishna, it's a thirst, develops. And when that thirst develops and it cannot be quenched, anger develops. And even if it is quenched, after a while you become fearful of losing that which you have now acquired. And so again, anger starts to develop, and when anger develops, one falls into bewilderment of memory, and when memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. When intelligence is lost, the Bhagavad Gita says, one again falls down into the material pool of existence. And so what a powerful, harmful chain of events is presented by the Bhagavad Gita, and I guess alluded to by Gandhi in his famous quote here, that there is enough for every man's need, but not for every man's greed. And so maybe we need to ask ourselves, what is it that we're seeking in this life that is actually more about greed than about need? What is it that we're seeking for that is way above what we actually need? And you know what? This almost runs contrary to the consumerist, capitalistic society that we live in. And I'm not saying that we suddenly all become communists and socialists, right? I'm not here to make a political stance. I am here to say that we need to start reevaluating what it is that we truly need to be happy and satisfied, which we are seeking from within ourselves, which is coming from within, versus that which has been laid upon us from the outside, from society, from people, from our peers, from our parents, to say that you must have this in order to be happy. Because if we can make that distinction between that which is from our inside versus that which has been absorbed over our years on this earth, in this life that we live, we can start to perhaps realize that we are happy as we are now, that we are satisfied as we are now, that we can be satisfied with what we have without reaching out and grabbing and letting greed take over our lives. I mean, this is controversial because on the one hand, you could argue, well, should I give up all my needs? Should I give up all the things that I want, all my aspirations? Should I just be satisfied living where I'm at, just living life as at this level? Or could it mean that we're okay to do this? We're okay to grab some stuff, but we need to do something else, that we need to balance ourselves. So there's a dichotomy. How is it for you? What is it for you in your life that you have that you think that is perhaps beginning to rule you? What is it that perhaps you're chasing so hard that it's now beginning to own you? That it's beginning to take over your life. It's becoming an obsession, not a healthy obsession, but an unhealthy obsession that is now harming you and now threatens to harm your family, the people around you. Because when Gandhi talked about this, need versus greed, I think he really hit a powerful point that I think we can all learn from, that we need to see what it is. And really the need is to satisfy our soul. But how can you satisfy our soul, our spirit, our inner true happiness when we're focusing so much on the outside? So maybe the message here is to go inside. I'd say that because I'm a spiritual mentor, I'm an empowerment coach. Naturally, I'd say that this is what we should do. But what would you do? How would you interpret this? And what is it that you're seeking in your life, which could be greed rather than need, or which needs to be cut, and so that you can be satisfied and happy with that which you already have? Because remember, the more grateful we are for what we have, the more we attract that which we desire. And the same is reverse. The same is true for the reverse. Think about it. Oh, and tonight, before I forget, Wednesday the 2nd of October, we have a really interesting chat with a special guest by the name of Sheila Price Brooks, who is an author, a spiritual authority, and an expert in an area of sleep and troubles called sleep paralysis. Some of you may know about sleep paralysis. Some of you may have experienced it without realizing what sleep paralysis is. But it is often known by different names: night terrors, the old hag, people who have slept at night. Have you ever had that feeling where you're choked, you can't speak, you're paralyzed, you can't move? Maybe you know somebody who has. But this is a phenomenon that happens around the world. It is brushed under carpets. It is treated with taboo in many cultures. She's going to open up about the lessons and the wisdom that she's acquired in her life through these so-called harmful, evil experiences, and open up about her life. It's going to be fascinating. It'll be at 9 p.m. on Facebook. Hope to see you there. I hope this has been of value. Remember, need versus greed. Which side of that compass are you? Peace out.